Hello, hello. I'm going to be doing some mixing of Mackley's Harmonitrees project that we just did. And Destin asked me to put this on a stream, so here I am. Okay. Gotta turn off all of my syncing. Oh boy. My computer is choking right now. There we go. Hey Dustin, how's it going? Okay. I'm a little bit confused because I was supposed to have 5 files and instead I have 7 for each of these. Yeah, it's gonna sound really different. Right now I'm just trying to figure out which pairs of mics are which. Those sound the same to me. That sounds closer. And this is the point where I get out the recorder. Yeah, it is a good horn sound. So now I'm just going to get out the recorder to see what the settings were actually on. And it looks correct. I mean, if I look at it, it has... Let's see if it'll focus here. It has the 5 tracks enabled, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Those are the faders that are up, but now I'm curious about the record enabling. What was enabled? Let's see. So looking at the individual tracks, I see. So it looks like 7 and 8 are a stereo mix, and 5, 6, it's still not super clear. Okay. Yeah, so some of it is a stereo mix down. So what I'm looking at is right here. Let's see if you can focus on this. It's hard to get it to focus. There we go. So if you look at what's lit up and what's not on this screen, you can see that 1 through 5 were armed, but you can see that 6, 7, and 8 also had something going on. So that's why I have more tracks than I think I should. Which it's a little bit curious as to why. I'm a little curious as to why it did that. But if by what I'm looking at right now, we should have the U87 as track 5, and then track 6 and 7 are a stereo mix down, or something like that. The problem is that it just doesn't sound quite like that when I listen to it. Before you can mix it, you have to know what the hell you're listening to, right? So like the waveforms definitely look different, and that's good. These waveforms should look pretty similar, the ones that are paired up, right? So let's listen to a later spot. Sorry about that. I'm gonna try to find a spot that's has like one instrument playing. I mean, you can really hear the guitar. This is actually not a bad spot. So we have horn and violins, which were on the right side of the room. So they should be louder in some mics than others. Okay, so this makes sense to me that these would be the 451s, the AKG 451s, since they're far away. So let me try that. 451 left, AKG 451 right. Yeah, that's definitely louder. So these are the KM184s left, and then KM184 right. Although I'm also not sure about the order of the mics. Actually, you guys were both there. Okay, so tell me, which mics were in which order? Was it the mic, because, you know, we have an XY. So the question is, like, was the mic on the left number one, or is it the mic on the right that's number one? Because if the one on the left is number one, it's actually recording the right side, right? So it's a little bit, can be a little bit confusing. And then this one should be the U87. It's definitely got a different color. You think mic, the left mic was number one. Okay, so then this should actually be reversed. Let's see if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna listen to the same spot. So if these are the AKGs, then the horn should sound like it's coming from the left. Let's see, let me get my stereo spread here. Oh wait, that's not. Oh yeah, is there a decent stereo plugin for this? I don't know if there is. Not that helpful. Yeah. I think that's correct. The horn sounds like it's on the left. It sounds like it's on the right to me. Yeah, that sounds correct. And then the 184 should have the horn on the right. Yeah, like that. And then the U87, which is our ambient mic, it should be in both equally. Yeah. This channel right here has a really different color than the others. Channel 7. Yeah, I kind of think that this channel could also be the U87 mixed in with something else, because it kind of has that sound. Yeah, this is why if you don't run the session yourself and then you're mixing it, there's always some stuff. Yeah, doesn't make sense. That's okay. So now I can actually start mixing. Let's see. So the first thing to do is mute that. Actually, I just want to listen to how it sounds in this mic. Yeah, I'm going to delete these two tracks. So, give myself a lot simpler thing to listen to here. And yeah, Chris, that makes sense that it's the last one. And the signal looks the most different. But, like, there's no reason it would be channel 7. It's just really weird to me that, like... Because what that would mean is that these would 1 through 4 would be these mics. These two would be stereo mixed down within the recorder, left and right. And then this would be the U87 solo as number 7, which is just weird. It does have a good sound, though. Okay, yeah, Chris, you convinced me that this is the U87. Okay, I'm gonna hide these two. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so Destin's asking what I'm listening for. So right now, what I'm doing, I'm getting to know like the whole performance, like this first performance for one thing. I'm also like I have my sets of stereo mics, and they have slightly different colors because they were in different parts of the room, and then I'm contrasting those with my ambient mic. So like my ambient mic, the U87, is basically a good room sound, from slightly outside. So it has a blend of everything together already inside of it. So I'm trying to decide like how much of those mics do I want? How much of the mics in the room do I want? And how much of the ambient mic do I want? That's one question I have. The other question I have is like, do I need to do any, like how much compression do I need to do on each individual mic? And how much, how is the color different between the mics? So I'm just kind of like listening and like intuitively playing around with all of that right now until I kind of land on a blend that I'm happy with. As of right now, I'm kind of I'm leaning more and more on this ambient mic. I also can't believe how loud the electric guitar is in this, because it like didn't seem that loud whenever I was playing, but it's like seems louder than everything else in the mix, which is just weird. That's cool. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. The dynamic range is huge in this recording. Yeah, so this kind of blend is okay. I'm more or less okay with it. It's a little tinny. But something like that isn't bad. So now I'm just going to take the rest of my tracks and throw them on the same mix that I already made, and just kind of get organized here. Put all my takes in a row. And this is what I would do, this is how it would look if you just record it directly into the DAW, just one after the other. Whoop. Got a little bit mixed up there. Yeah, I deleted a track. There we go. One. So now I have a rough mix for all of my takes. I need to normalize everything, obviously. This just looks like an outtake. So this was actually the warm up, and then these were the 3 takes that were like real takes with all the cameras on. So I just need to normalize each of these, and see how different the levels look between takes. That could be I may have to adjust. It also may be slightly more obvious which mics are which in these other takes, which would be nice. You should be able to tell from the waveforms a little bit easier which mics are which. And like you can tell pretty easily that these 2 mics are a stereo pair and these 2 mics are a stereo pair within this recording. With this, it's a lot harder to tell. Like, it's subtle, but it's it's still there, but it's pretty subtle. This other take is looking a lot easier to to mix, which is nice. And I'm also looking to see, just making sure which thing the U87 would be. Now this is interesting. Got a little spike right there. See that? In this track, that could be a clue for something. Because my problem is that 5, 6, and 7, they could actually be submixes of like 1, 2 plus 3 and 4 equals 5 and 6. So it's like, are these 2 waveforms that I'm looking at right here adding together to make this? It could be. So because that's you can set up the mics to work that way. Although look at this, the clap is way easier to read here. So here, this looks like obviously mic pair, probably either a sum of everything or a separate mic. Yeah, I'm glad I did the claps in the room. That was a good decision. And this is hard to mix to me because it's hard to get a handle on the colors of what's happening, and to like control. It's hard to control this mix because there's just so much happening in one room. It's basically like a, you know, everything live at once recording. So I have some options, but I'm also kind of like up against the wall a little bit because nothing's isolated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. These two are officially out. This is officially the U87. I could just tell in that last waveform I was looking at that it definitely is. I don't know why, but that's what it is. Weird, weird, weird. So I guess in this recorder you can tell it to insert the stereo left and right submix into your channel list whenever you're recording, as far as what I'm looking at. Okay, let's listen to something else. It could have been recorded a little louder, Chris. Yeah. Basically, whenever you're normalizing this much, the levels are boosted quite a bit. You're really like relying on the quality of the preamp more, because if you're recording into a crappy preamp and you normalize that much, it's really gonna sound bad. It's a testament to how good these sound devices recorders are, how good it sounds, even though I'm having to normalize it this much. So I'm going to put some compression on the 451s because I want more oboe in general, but it's really hard to pull it out. This is the Arturia, one of the Arturia compressor plugins, which is really great. Yeah, okay. So for a first mix, I feel like this is pretty much fine. And I want to come back to it later whenever especially once I have some footage to look at. But you know, I could put compression on other things. I was thinking about putting compression on the master. I'll definitely put a limiter on there. But as far as other things to do right now, I feel like I don't have quite enough information to be able to do any other mixing things. Honestly, I would love to like have a full cut of the video and then go through and mix it shot by shot. I'd be happier to do it that way because then I can really craft the audio with the image. This way, I feel a little bit like I'm trying to just like get something that sounds the least bad kind of mix, which is fine, but I feel like I don't have a lot of control over it right now. So I think I'm going to come back to this part later. I need to mix some other parts of this too. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Let's see here. So I'm gonna mix some parts and edit some of the takes of just the installation. And these should just be 3 tracks. So we'll see how many tracks it gives me, because that could be weird. Create new tracks. Yes. I accidentally didn't look at the sample rate and bit rate for the very beginning of the recording session on the first day. So the basically the first take or two is in 44.1 by 16 bit instead of 48 by 24 bit. So that's not a problem. I can convert it. It shouldn't be, too huge of an issue. Okay, so it's doing the same thing where it gave me five files. So in this case, I know what they are. We have 184, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is just messed up, man. So the numbers it gave me aren't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. Whatever. So for now, I'm going to mute and hide all of those. Yeah, I know what they are. Wait, what? Just the numbers, man. Why are the numbers like this? That's just messed up. Saving another copy of my session, and I'm pretty sure what it's doing is yeah, it's copying the audio file in there even though I told it not to. Bad logic. While I was doing that, grabbing some water. Oh great, it's still loading. Oh, that's loading. I'm gonna look at the record settings some more on this recorder. Yep, okay. All I have to do is turn on the recorder and then Logic will load. That's the trick. Yep. And it's motion activated, so okay. If you on very easily. Yeah, in this case, it's way easier to hear what the U87 is, because check this out. So these are the 184s. And the U87 has a darker color. Really easy. So in this case, it's a lot easier to get organized because I can tell what the hell these things are. Okay, and then I need to So that was 381. Oh my god. Die. At least this time it's telling me that it's converting a multi-track audio file. Before it hasn't done that. It's actually kind of nice. Oh! And that's because I changed the recording settings after that first take. So now it doesn't have to convert. It's just doing what it should. Okay. Hello. There we go. So these are going to be really easy to mix, actually, because every time we had the KM184s up on the stand at about ear height, and then I had the U87 and I just placed it as close as I could to whatever we were recording. Yeah, sounds good. And Chris, so this is the recording that I ran with Jose, and you can see I like these levels better. I haven't normalized anything, and I'm basically fine with the way the levels are. I can maybe tweak them a little bit. Oh, it's nice to have so much more control over my sound. Just by EQing and putting compression on one thing, now I have like the wide, I have more highs in the KM184s that are mixed really hard left and right, and then in the middle I have basically a sweetener with the U87. like that sound. I wish I could get that sound that's a little bit warmer from the Harmonitrees in my performance mixing, but it's just hard to have this much control. What I might do is this kind of thing where I roll off the highs a little bit on the U87. That may be something that gives me a little bit more control over my mixing. So we'll see. What do you guys think? Any comments on what I'm doing so far, or any questions? Any more questions? Thoughts, concerns, fears? See if it'll let me use the existing tracks this time properly. No, it really doesn't want to do that. Oh, that's what's going on. I see. Great. Shit. Oh man. Damn. I just oh wait, no. It's cool. I can get it back. I'm good. Everything's fine. I was wondering why it wasn't letting me bring in my multi-tracks, and it's because it was bringing it in. It was just bringing it into hidden tracks that I didn't want to mess with. And yeah, I just need to do this, and this. Yeah, and I'm good. Okay, cool. That was kind of weird. Thanks, Chris. Have a good class. And yeah, so Destin, how to determine what I want to cut with the EQ. Well, I knew from doing in this stuff, in the installation work, I knew what I wanted to highlight in the mics, because as I was mixing, as I was recording, I was like, ooh, I really like the sparkle, like the ultra highs of the KM184s, and whoa, listen to how much darker the U87 was. I had that experience during the recording. And so now that I'm mixing, I just like, if I cut the highs of the U87 even just a little bit, that makes it sound even sweeter. And then if I just make a little bit of room for the U87 in the mix, then it just kind of like it brings out the best parts of both mics. Like here's the 184s again, very brilliant, and then here's the U87, a little more mellow, kind of hard to hear in that spot. More mellow, less mellow. So I like those frequency ranges of those mics, right? So then whenever I'm mixing it, and also that controlled how much compression I wanted to use on the U87. I didn't feel like normalizing it. So instead of normalizing, I'm just doing basically a generous boost in my compressor, and then in all of these mics around 120 hertz, you have the fan noise of the Harmonitrees themselves. So I'm just doing a cut in basically all of them to try to tamp that down a little bit. So that's how I'm thinking about the EQ and compression in this case. Yeah, I think that's sounding pretty good.
Sorry, can you do that one more time?
Yep. Good questions. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. It's like moving this track around. It's weird. So these are all, basically I just have to make one mix and then they're all done, which is really easy and nice. So yeah, that's done on this first. So we had 2 days of recording. One day was just doing video and audio shoots of the installation itself. So of the trees, people messing with the trees, and then day 2 was the performance that you participated in, obviously. So in the first day, we just used 3 mics. We used the KM184s and the U87. Yeah. And in this case, channels 4 and 5 are a stereo mix, like a headphone mix. But I don't want the sound devices recorder to mix for me, so I'm just deleting all of those. But yeah, I'm actually the AKGs add to the mix more brightness. That's a good question. They definitely have a different flavor than the KM184s. And if we listen to those, like if we mute all these, those are the 450 ones and the 184s. In this case, yeah, the 451s do have a little bit more boosted, around 15, like 12K and above. So they are even more brilliant than the 184s. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, they're going to have not just a different frequency response, they're also going to have, I mean, being placed in the room differently, of course, they're going to sound different. The transient response of how quickly they respond to something that gets sent to them. It's going to have a different sound as well. So there's, I mean, using multiple sets of mics gets you a lot of bang for your buck. It's amazing. There we go. And that's kind of the thing, Destin, that I was struggling with whenever I was listening to the performances and trying to mix them, is that I don't feel like I can say, oh, the AKGs are bringing brightness, so I should EQ them this way and pan them this way, because the mics are at 2 opposite sides of the room with different stuff playing. It's like they're just picking up different signals. So I don't feel it's not as easy to just give the mics different roles in the mix, basically. As it is in this case. And basically what ends up happening is like the stuff in the middle of the room, so like Chris playing trombone, that's the stuff that I'm curious if I'll be able to really control at all in the mix, or if it's just going to be whatever happens to whatever happens to be the combination of mics. You know what I mean? I do have the U87 that was in the middle of the room, but and I think that's why I'm starting to rely on the U87 a little bit more in the mixing for the instruments, is that it is giving me an overall sound, which is helpful, like an overall image. I could try to bring all these in at once, but I think it would crash my computer. Or Logic. Yeah, I have a feeling it would. So, all I think I need to do... At this point, I basically just need to do a bunch of bouncing. I'm just going to take the preliminary, the rough mix that I have right now, and bounce it out and send it to the videographer. And then hopefully I'll get a chance to finalize the mixes once there's a finished video cut. I didn't think that I was going to need to do that, but now that I'm working on the mixes, it's like, oh, I would really like another crack at it. At least for the performances. For the installation documentation, all these files up here, I feel pretty good about those. They just kind of sound like I knew the way I wanted them to sound when we were recording them, and they sound the way I want. So those are easier. It's a big boy. What do you want me to stream? Bouncing stuff, or doing the more finished mix of the video? You probably mean doing the more finished mix of the video, I would imagine. Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. I don't know when that'll be, because the videographer has to do a lot of stuff before that would happen. But yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna wind down this stream here just in a second. Once I finish up all of this. I don't know what this is actually.
That's all. I'll just turn it on.
Have it interact.
Us talking.
Purpose. Yeah.
Oh, this is the interview. Okay, right. Yeah, and there's also a long interview. Which actually, how long is this? Like 30 or 40? Yeah, 47 minutes. So there's also an interview that needs to be mixed between Sky and I. So let's put a little marker for that.
Or could just one up.
That's why it's so long. This will need to be normalized, but there's also 2 lapel mics. That I need the audio for, that the videographer has the audio that needs to send it to me. So once I have that, I can mix the interview. And I think I'm actually going to push these over here. Be organized. So let's see how long this is actually all together. Yep. So all told, it's about 3 hours of recordings of usable material. That's a lot. Oh my goodness. And so there's about 3 hours of video to go with this that has to be edited. And then of the performances, we'll probably only use one take. The interview will be like the whole thing with more stuff put in. And then the installation footage, I mean, there's like an hour and 40 minutes of footage and audio that needs to be condensed down. That's a lot. It's a big job. Good night. So yeah, that's a lot of work. I'm actually sort of astounded by how much it is. And it's not so much work for me, it's more work for the videographer, because the audio, as you can see, I just like went once over everything, did a rough mix, and then my work is basically done for now. I am gonna bounce these out, but then yeah, that's it. So thanks for asking me to stream. I hope it was interesting and or informative or something. And yeah, I'll send a link whenever I'm going to do the final mix on this stuff. See you later.